All right, that leaves us with 6 minutes to share any breadcrumbs, God winks, treasures you have picked up along the way. Or it's Monday, so I would love to share our sacred learning, listening lesson for the week. Do you guys have any God winks or breadcrumbs you want to share? Otherwise, okay. And if you think of one, we can certainly share it after this or at the end. Um, So our listening lesson for the week. Was anybody on last week when we were listening for possibilities?
I came in at the tail end.
Okay. Oof, be careful what you wish for. I tell you. So this week we are listening to communicate. This is the information age, is a common mantra these days. It leads us to want to know everything and to know it right now. We are inundated with data. The world has moved from typewriters and one carbon copy to electric typewriters and multiple carbon copies to copy machines, word processors, fax machines, emails, laptops, Palm Pilots, broadband, internet, cell phones, all of the above, all in relatively a short period of time. Add the voicemail and cell phones to the input from television, radio, and newspapers, and suddenly we find ourselves on the receiving end of massive amounts of data, 24 hours a day. Isn't that the truth? Interestingly, much of this occurs without any personal interaction. Sometimes I do most of my communicating without talking directly to another human being. Then there are days of back-to-back meetings and appointments when all I do is talk to other people. I share information and exchange data at a rapid pace. There's hardly a moment to take a breath. All this can leave me with a yearning, a feeling that something is missing in all of this communication. We've become experts at imparting information, communicating from our heads. What's missing is connection, communicating from our hearts. Heart communication happens when we slow down, when we quiet down, look and listen, stop to take a breath, become fully present with the person we're with. Listen with all of our being. At this point, communication can occur without words. Being present is a gift that fills our hearts and spirits. We are in communion. Imagine a world where we all communicate from our hearts every day. Heart communication could be as simple as a smile or giving undivided attention to another. What a gift. Communication can happen without words. Anything stir up? Anything is like, yes, well, obviously, I mean, are we inundated with outside information or what? Like, how do you get away from that?
When you
Especially
were
if you,
talking about back to back to back to back meetings, I felt myself like,
mm, yeah, yeah. And
and
what
it's,
do we do?
well, no, it's interesting. I think, like, thinking about it, thinking about my habit tracker for this month, I feel like my habit tracker is directly related to this. Opportunities to um, stop that churn of just like information overload.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what are the steps you are taking to do that? Or is right now it's just a thought? Right now it's just an awareness that you need to take action on? Or where are you at with that?
Um, I'm doing pretty well, sort of, um, with the habits. Like, one of them is journaling every day, and that sort of gets me oh, introspective and then getting some of my thoughts on paper, so they're not churning. And then I have create something every day, which gets me out of my head completely and into that more like visceral experience. And I also
Mhm.
have, um, like going outside with the dogs, which is fun and playful and reminds me to like stop and play a little bit. So things like that, where normally I could totally get sucked in and like all of a sudden pick my head up and it's like 8 o'clock at night. And I've been sitting here since 8 o'clock this morning. So as much as I can get away from that.
I love that. I love that. And something that I will definitely take away from that is that time to create, just making that space because it gets us out of mode, go mode, and into that, shut that off and into a new space. So I love that time to create, and making space for that in the day. And do you set time aside? Like, is that on on your layout of the day, or you just feel like, oh, I'm in overload. It's time to.
Yeah, I think it's more like fitting it in. And then I feel like at the end of the day, when I'm, sort of like reflecting, if I haven't, I'll even just like color for a few minutes. I have coloring books. So it's an easy way to
Mm-hmm,
sort of have that experience without like
mm-hmm,
diving into a project.
mm-hmm. Totally, totally. That's awesome. So good. So listening for communication this week. You guys head off, get your intentions taken care of, and we'll meet back at the top of the hour. Thank you, Amy, for sharing. That gives us lots of time as 9 minutes to mastermind around our topic of communicating from the heart, communicating without words, or if we had any breadcrumbs, treasures, God winks we picked up this week, or just anything that is on your heart that you would like to, um, that is stirred up and you'd like to mastermind around.
Okay, I'll share something.
Okay.
That didn't feel like a wink earlier, but then when I was doing my journaling, one of the things that I like to do is I like to pull like a few cards.
Mm.
And I have this one deck, it's called Pure Magic. And I always get something good out of that one. So back up to this weekend, I decided to redo my office and studio space to sort of get organized for some projects that I'm working on. So my mom and I went out shopping, and typically the way that I shop is I buy more than I need because I want to have options, and then I return a bunch of stuff. It's like a constant stream of like returning and buying new. So when I got to the register, the total for what I was buying was $333.35. And I was joking that I was 2 cents away from being like on my way to the casino with all of those threes. So this morning I pulled a card from this Pure Magic deck, and it was number 33. And I thought, okay, clearly the threes are speaking to me. So I looked up like the significance of number 33. And it says number 33 is a master number and resonates with the energies of compassion, blessings, inspiration, honesty, discipline, bravery, and courage. It tells us that all things are possible. And I thought, what a great message to get on a Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm sitting with today. All things are possible.
Ooh, I love that. That is so good. I like numbers too. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of 44.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I just happen to look at the clock or at my phone, it's like 11 or 44. 11:44. So yeah, I love that too. And I feel like those are little breadcrumbs along the way, like, okay, you're on the right path, just keep take another step, you're on the right path. So yeah, I definitely resonate with checking out those numbers and that. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, what a great way to uh start the week,
Mm-hmm.
like give you that extra little boost of, yeah, you got this. Take the next step. Blessings are unfolding.
Yes. I see my birthday a lot, like my birthday as a time
Mm.
when I look at the calendar. And that's one of the ways that I know I'm like aligned with spirit. It's like that little like, oh look, it's my birthday again.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. And those are the breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
right? Like those are the little things, pick it up and to keep us energized, to keep us going. Especially when we get in those times where we're like, okay, I've got a lot to do, it's that little crumb. Okay, I can do it. I can do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's what has to keep us going sometimes because I mean, as moms and wives and business owners and whatever else we have on our plate, like we need that, we need that little boost of energy throughout the day. Mm.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like going back to the communication and like the back-to-back meetings, one of the things I'm doing, I'm in this little like challenge with some friends, and throughout the day there are these little like snippets, and I mean it's only a couple minutes, but like it pops up on my phone, and if I'm going from one meeting to the next, it's it feels like I have to save it. And then someone else in my group was like, I just go to the next meeting 2 minutes late.
Mhm.
And like I sat with that for a minute and I thought, like, how often in the first 2 minutes of a meeting are you just waiting for everyone to like get on and get settled? And actually like giving myself that time back to do the little things, again, to like recenter and refocus and feel refreshed. So um
Yeah. What comes up for me around that is I am so like, well, time is my love language. And I'm very time oriented. And the more I reflect on it, I can see it just shows up where it shows up like that. But I have to be on time or something feels wrong, something feels not content within me if I go in to a meeting late or show up somewhere late. Like I like to be a few minutes early and moving in that early space, maybe using that time for me, using that time, show up a little early and then have that time to do whatever I need to do. But there is something about like, I just don't like when people are late. I don't like being late. Like there's something around being late for me that I just can't, um, I just don't want to be, and right now this is like something stirring up for me is that I have a group that I'm leading and I haven't been able to post in it and I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this time thing, this time crunch like I need to sit down and I need to pound it out, but I just like this morning and yesterday just moving from the different things that have to get done, So that whole time thing for me is something that sits heavy or can lighten me up if I'm showing up early and running on time or smooth or ahead of time. I don't know.
yeah, and I was the same way. Like forever it was, if you're on time, you're late. Right?
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
same idea. And I think I'm
Mhm.
learning to um like have more grace and compassion for myself, because
Mhm.
inevitably the things I want to do, like the list of things I want to do, are always too much for one day or one week, like whatever I put on the to-do list. And I'm learning to you know like stop and think about like what supports me most right now, and
Mhm.
like making sure that I sort of hit all the pieces, but maybe not um as much as like originally intended, or as much as I would have before, and being okay with that, and being
Mhm.
okay with like renegotiating timelines and meetings,
Mhm.
and actually like rescheduling things, which was
Mhm.
something that I would never have done before.
Mhm. Yeah, love that.
Give myself that space.
Mhm. space. How about you, Tammy?
Yeah, that's everything you both have shared resonates a lot, and about the being late or being on time. I think for a while in my younger self, I would give myself some compassion because I would think, well, I needed to get all this stuff done before I left the house. And so maybe I was a couple of minutes late, and in my mind, I was like, well, at least I got all that done. But then I realized how I was showing up. And then I'd get really anxious because I was disappointing people, and I was being rude. And so that didn't feel good, and so then I realized too, I'm trying to like move heaven and earth to try to leave the house all intact and, the kids, everything. But that just wasn't serving me well, so now I get it. I really do. I think one of you just said that statement. I saw that the other day, like, unless you're early, you're late. And that's been sticking with me too. I really like that.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, the whole time thing. Do you guys, oh, it's 8:01. I got to hand it off. What great conversation this morning. Definitely around time. Yeah, so many ways to look at it and look at it, and so many things we can learn from hearing each other. So I thank you for sharing your thoughts and your heart this morning. And thanks for showing up for Faith on Purpose. I'm gonna hand it on over to Nancy. Coach K for a little decide. Here you are, my coach.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Jacob has decided to join me this morning.